In this video, I break down the exact step-by-step strategy I'd use today if I had to start my coaching business from zero to get coaching clients fast. Step one is to call 20 people in my inner circle. Now, you may hear that and go, Peter, there's no way I have 20 people, but let's think about who these people are. Sure, some of them are close friends and family members, but some of them are people that you haven't talked to in years. And why you want to start with these conversations is because it is the least technical first step. It forces you to start communicating about your coaching business. It forces you to actually face the discomfort and the awkwardness and the fear of failure and rejection and judgment in calling yourself a coach and sharing your message out there. But it's also with people who know, like, and trust you, who you feel safe with. So before you think about complicated funnels, coming up with AI strategy, hiring a team, running ads, start with these 20 conversations. Now, there's two types of people that you have these conversations with. The first is somebody who's just kind of like an acquaintance. Maybe it's somebody who was an old coworker of yours, a past boss, a friend from years ago who you haven't talked to in years, and it's called a connection call. A connection call is where you reach out to them just to connect and catch up and hear what they're up to in their life. And the approach here is for you not to pitch them or sell them, is to simply be genuinely curious about what is up in your life these days. It's been months or years since we talked. What are you most excited about? And you lean into this conversation knowing that, number one, you get to catch up and connect with this person. And I wouldn't fake this. I would only choose to do this with people that you really care about reconnecting to. And what happens is a law of reciprocity kicks in. Every single time I have done this, I've seen so many of our clients in Fearless Coach Academy do this. When you ask this person genuinely what they're most excited about, and after they share a little bit about their relationships or their health or their business, then they're going to reciprocate and ask you about what you're excited about. And that's opening the door. That's you getting the chance to share that you've decided to launch a coaching business. And you can tell them who you're helping and what you plan to help people with, just to start getting comfortable with that conversation. If you don't have these conversations, then the amount of pressure with little practice on your first enrollment call can be debilitating. So instead, you want to find 5, 10, 20 of these people that you can do connection calls with. And again, there's not much to lose here, because this is not you hoping that they become a client. This is you just talking about your coaching. Now, the second type of person that you can do these calls with is somebody who either represents your ideal client, or they may know somebody who is. And instead of this being a connection call, this is, of course, the famous market research interview. If you're watching this video for the first time, then you can hear me say this in some of my other videos. If you've watched more of my videos, you know that I talk about this strategy, but it's you reaching out and asking for a favor. So in the first connection call, you're not asking for a favor. You're just catching up with them. You're hearing how life is. You're sharing about what you're up to. But in this market research interview, you're reaching out to a trusted confidant who you feel safe with. And you're asking for advice. You're saying, hey, listen, I've got a quick favor to ask. I'm planning to start a coaching business in the next few weeks, in the next few months. And I'm looking to interview a couple people in my network who I feel could give me really valuable feedback on the value of this coaching program. Are you open to a quick conversation? And when you do this, most people who know, like, and trust you are going to be willing to give you a little bit of their time, and they're going to do a favor for you. And when they do that, you want to let them know up front that you're really grateful for them to share their time and their wisdom. You definitely want to figure out how to add value to them at the end. And if they're okay, once you share with them a little bit about your program, you may ask if there's somebody that they know that could benefit from it. And you're just planting that seed. In the beginning of the conversation, you're not asking that. Yes, you're going to ask that at the end, but you're pre-framing them first before you do that. By the way, I have a whole script for this. If you want the market research interview script so you don't have to wing it and you don't have to ask AI for it, if you want literally the word-for-word template that all of our clients have used to sign hundreds of thousands of dollars of clients, then just comment script below and my team will send it to you, okay? So that's the conversation. Now, at the end, you have a choice. You can be very direct and bold, or you can be a little bit indirect. The number one agenda of this is to genuinely get market research. So that's the agenda. There is no hidden agenda. And there is a hidden benefit, though, that could happen potentially. I'm not going to guarantee this, but let's say that you have a great conversation with this person and you sincerely feel that they are connected to people that you could help. Then you make the ask that you pre-frame them in the beginning, which is, now that you know a little bit about this coaching business and who I help, I'm curious, who do you know that you think would benefit from this? Is there anybody that you know that would be interested? And you may be surprised that this person either, one, recommend somebody to you, which is a great that you get a referral because that's the highest quality lead. Or number two, they lean in and they say, actually, this sounds like exactly what I need or my team needs or we need. And in that moment, you don't go into the enrollment or in the sales because you don't have enough time. You got to honor the initial time agreement. But then you say, okay, no worries. We'd love to dive in deeper to make sure this is a real fit. How's your availability this Thursday or next Tuesday, right? And then you book that next call. And what you've just done is you've created 20 opportunities for you to face your fear, for you to step outside of your comfort zone, for you to nurture the relationship capital that you've built for years and get some great feedback through connection calls and ultimately market research interviews. And when you do this, you will open up doors potentially for referrals. Some of the times it happens immediately. We've had Rachel, a client of ours who's a business consultant, enroll 4 $3,000 clients in her first 30 days after launching her business. Literally $12K in 30 days. We've had others that did this and got crickets, but then 3 months later reconnected with that person and got a client. So just know it depends on your network, of course, and your know, like, and trust with these people, but that's where you want to start. Now just notice, even though there may be some emotional resistance there, doesn't that feel a lot easier than you figuring out funnels and AI and tech and lead generation and paid ads? It's the shortest, fastest path to building your coaching business. So if I was starting over again this year, that's the first thing that I would do. The second step is to enroll 3 case study clients in the first 30 days. Why 3? Well, because case study is typically a free client or a highly discounted client. Now, why do I recommend doing this? Listen, if you have 30 or 40 years of experience, you don't need to start with the free or the discounted clients. You can just go into a 3K, 5K, 10K, 20K client, and you're not going to have any issues with that. But if you're like most coaches, even with that amount of experience, for some reason there's a block. There's a mental and emotional resistance to charging for your services, especially if you've mentored people for free for years. So what we want to do is get through that block by getting your first couple clients for free or for a highly discounted. That's what a case study client is. Let's say, for example, your normal pricing is going to be $5K for 3 months of coaching. I'm just making this number up. And your first client, you say, listen, I'm going to do this for free in exchange for your testimonial and a referral. Is that client going to be as committed as someone who pays you $5K? Of course not. Why? Because they don't have skin in the game. So you don't want to do this with 10 or 20 clients because then you're not getting paid, and you probably couldn't do this if you wanted to, but it also could erode your confidence. But your first client, I'm okay with you doing this if you make the agreement up front that provided that they get great value, they're willing to share a testimonial with you at the end. Why? Because in the AI era, the coaching industry, you need proof. It's not like it was a nice thing to have a few months ago, but today, if you don't have proof and success stories of the value of your coaching, no one will believe it. And I don't mean written testimonials that AI can make up. I mean video testimonials with your clients. So that's the first one. Maybe it's your free client, but then the next one, maybe it's not free anymore, but you offer an 80% discount. The way that you frame it, the exact language that you use is say, listen, my normal pricing, I always want you to talk about your normal pricing. Why? Because it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to be something that you've got to master the sales conversation. So just let them know what the normal pricing is, even if you're not going to charge them that or ask them to pay that, because it builds that comfort. So my normal pricing is $5K for 3 months. I'm just role playing here. However, because you were one of my first clients in my case study program, I'm willing to offer an 80% discount. And so in exchange for your testimonial and your referral, you would get a $4,000 discount. So it's a one-time investment of $1,000. Pause, right? And now what you just did is you got your first 2 case study clients. Some people go 80% discount, 60%, 40%, 20%, and then full pay. Others just go right to their full pay client, the first client. So it totally depends on you. I'm obviously going to nudge you to get to that paying client place, full pay client as quickly as possible. But that's the second step. If I was to start over, I would do those 20 calls with people in my inner circle, connection calls and market research interviews. And then I would enroll my first 3 clients in the first 30 days. You do not need more than 30 days to get 3 clients in this way. You do not. If you don't have 3 clients in the first 30 to 60 days, let's say, you're not implementing these strategies enough. Okay. The third step is to optimize your social media profiles so that people know that you're a coach. I can't tell you how many coaches are out there that you go to their LinkedIn, you go to their Facebook, you go to their Instagram, and it says nothing about coaching. Now I get it. You may be working a full-time job. So, you got to be thoughtful of that and say, is it okay? Does it jeopardize your security at the job if you're going to do that? But if it doesn't, then make sure to update your profile picture. Make sure to update your banner. Make sure to put on your magnetic message on the profile so people can land on it and know that this is what you do and this is who you help. Right? A lot of us, for some reason, have a little bit of shame around that, or we're hesitant around that. But how are you going to help somebody if they don't know that you exist and they don't know what you do? And that's really simple. That doesn't require a funnel. That doesn't require a lot of tech. It doesn't require you to turn on video. It's just optimizing your profile on your social media platforms. So that would be step 3. Step 4 is to start documenting 2 things. 1 is the results of your clients, and 2 is the growth of your business. This is one thing I did back in 2013 when I started my business, and it really, really worked. It was me starting to document the building of my business, me announcing that I had decided to leave investment banking and private equity, launch a coaching business, and I started to announce every step of the way. I started to document when I was writing a book and it became a #1 Amazon bestseller. I was starting to document when I started to do retreats. And I brought entrepreneurs and executives together to go surfing and great white shark diving in San Diego. And by documenting that process, I was indirectly marketing my business. And I got interest and I got engagement and I got acknowledgement for it. So document your progress when you're building, but also document the results that your clients are getting. Now, you may or may not have permission, right? Only do this if you have their permission, of course. And sometimes you may leave their name off of it so that they are confidential because they may not want you to share. But those that are comfortable with that, and many of your clients will be comfortable, then share with the world the progress and the results and the momentum your clients are building. Because if you're celebrating them, that's a direct reflection on the value that you bring as a coach. And that's a direct interest, right, for others to go, you know what, I want that transformation in my marriage or in my health or in my parenting or in my career, right? If they don't know that you're helping others, then they're not going to want you to help them. So documenting those 2 things, number 1, building of your business, because that's sometimes easier to document. Number 2, the celebration of the breakthroughs of your clients. Really, really, really critical that you do that. And then the 5th and final step. Now, this is going to be outside of many of your comfort zones, so I get that. I get some of you may never do this, even though you know that it's necessary and you need it. And my 5th step that I would do if I was starting over from 0 this year, today, to build my coaching business, is I would absolutely start a YouTube channel. Now, I have a whole course that I'll share with you shortly on how to get clients from YouTube and the strategies behind it. But why is a YouTube channel necessary? Because if you don't have a YouTube channel, then number 1, nobody knows that you exist and nobody trusts you. Sure, some people may be connected to you on LinkedIn. They may be connected to you on Facebook or Instagram, but they're not going to truly trust you unless they're an inner circle friend or family member until they start consuming some of your content. And video is the best way to build that know, like, and trust. There is no better way. You cannot build know, like, and trust faster than you can with video. Why? Because people get to hear your voice. They get to feel your energy. They get to see your body language. They get to feel your heart. Like, really, when you start communicating in a way where you are authentic and you're sharing breakdowns and lessons that are relevant to them, you're building that rapport and that connection with them. And I get that it sounds kind of easy. Oh, cool, I just started a YouTube channel. But now you are stepping into the fear of being seen online. What will your old boss think of you when they see that YouTube video? What will your current or ex-coworker think of you? What will your ex-partner think of you? Right? All of our baggage comes up at this stage. But the beauty of this is that's what being an entrepreneur is. It's one of the wildest roller coasters, aside from parenting, I'd say, of personal development. You get to shift your identity of yourself. You get to shift who you are becoming to get your message out there. And YouTube is a great way to do that because it's also where people are going to consume content. They're searching for content. So I'm not gonna enroll you into YouTube in this video, but just know if I was starting over again from zero with no audience, no brand, no success stories, nothing, these are the 5 steps, and I would end with starting a YouTube channel because it would force me to start getting good on video and communicating a message. It would help me crystallize that magnetic message. So if you want a training on exactly how to do this, literally I have a free course on how to start a YouTube channel and get clients from YouTube, then just comment YouTube below and my team will send it to you. As always, I have a quick favor to ask because I noticed the majority of you aren't subscribed to my channel. So if you've gotten value from this and you never want to miss a future video, then definitely subscribe to the channel right now. And if you just want a shortcut and you don't have to go to the description, click up here in the corner and you go right to my free online course on how to get coaching clients from YouTube. Check it out now.